Got a little lavender in there this time. Cherokee sister friend says that's woman's medicine. Kind of felt like having some. Little gentle sweetness for we women. Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. It is September 25th, 2025. Let's tap right in and check with Spirit and see if they have a storyline they'd like to share with you. Collective energy, please, Spirit. Collective energy, storyline for the collective, please. Storyline for the collective, please. Storyline for the collective. All right. In the central energy, Queen of Wands. In the challenge position, Four of Swords. In the subconscious, Three of Wands. Moving forward, gonna go do something. In the recent past, Five of Pentacles. Intentions and expectations. So somebody's in a Five of Pentacles. Expectation or intention is to get a Ten of Pentacles. In the near future. Whoo! We've got the Sun in the reverse. Somebody's being very careless. The lens is being looked through. Four of Wands, freedom and marriage. Freedom. So yeah, somebody's real upset because they've lost control of the goods, of the Ten of Pentacles. They're very, very, very upset. They're out there. There is some masculine out there, and probably multiples, creating this storyline that you're in the wrong in the 3D. See, in the spiritual realm, there's been a fight. There's already been a fight. There's already been like vindication, verification, ascension, land appropriation, and financial changes. Now it's time for this stuff to materialize in the 3D. So what we're dealing with is a bunch of people in this atmosphere coming forward with the storyline that whoever and whatever it is that you're doing, you're speaking out, you're doing something in the world as a feminine to advance thought processes and creation. Whatever it is that you're doing, you're birthing something new, and you've got control, or you've been gifted by God this Ten of Pentacles. Now there's some rulers in the 3D. They already know in the astral they've lost. They're threatening to destroy the world if you don't hand over yourself to them once more and give them command over you. The thing about it is that they may very well do whatever it is they say they're going to do, But the thing about that is everybody has already chosen what they're in alignment with. So even if we transition out of the flesh temple, we're already a frequency match for whatever our next experience will be. Now, I don't think that they're going to be successful in destroying the world. I really feel that we've got presences here who support life from around the limitless numbers of universes. And I really feel that there is a lot of various beings that appreciate Earth. So I don't feel that these dominator tyrants, these overgrown, childish people who brutalize others in order to gain their authority and their you have to hand it over. You can't just, especially if you're a woman. If you're a woman on the rise, these ones do not want to see you speaking. They want to silence you. And if you don't kowtow and relinquish your God-given reward, your status, your energy, your presence, your voice, if you don't stop speaking, they're going to destroy the world. Well, we've already seen it. They're genociding people everywhere. These masculines. See, because they're not about, these ones who are doing this, they're not about creation. They're about destruction. And through destruction, they can claim energy from that which leaves, right? And bind it or do whatever they want to do with it. It's a thing. In the environment, we've got trickery. So yeah, somebody's wanting to commit trickery and fraud still here in the environment. Theft. They're very upset. You've got this foundational experience coming up with this 10 of Pentacles. You've already won in the spirit. They've lost their money because there's been a transfer that has occurred here for the Queen of Wands. She's making plans for the future. She's moving forward with those plans. This person here that doesn't, they're not the true being that is trying to claim authority here and, union with Source. It's just simply not. God isn't going to go around blowing stuff up because a woman is rising and saying, stop doing stupid stuff, But these men don't want to hear that. They want to commit fraud. They want to go ahead and get you to cede, C-E-D-E, your God-given position. They want you to lay it down, and they're going to threaten to destroy everything if you don't. And that's just this childish, I must have control so that I can continue harvesting the energy out of the womb and doing what I want with slavery and all of that. These guys, that's what they're into. But this mother figure that's on the rise is not about that. She's about stopping this stuff. She's about... it's like getting rid of the rats, doing pest control. You got to restructure, reconstruct, reorganize, rebuild in a positive, good way with nurturing in mind. And then on the other side, there's the masculines who are like, you need to do it the way that I say you can do it, or I'm going to go ahead and destroy everything you're trying to build and just take it and do what I want. That's where we're at right now. And they're threatening, and they're trying to amass an energetic awareness, a consciousness, a mindset that will support their fraud against this feminine who is trying to create something here, this Queen of Wands, with the 10 of Pentacles inheritance that the Most High God has gifted her in order to bring change here. So you've got somebody who's not the sun. And they're very angry that God took the pentacles from them and gave them to this Queen of Wands. And this Queen of Wands is bringing harmony to the foundation. And this person right here, he's so mad. He's so mad. He's going to destroy the world if you don't admit that you are evil. So they're trying to project themselves onto this feminine like they always have. Like they always have. The masculines in this particular realm have always projected their evil deed onto the feminine and then tortured them throughout relationships and other circumstances for the crime. They're very arrogant right now. very angry with God. This curator has already said that if God does not hand this woman over to him, he's going to sacrifice every chosen one. That's what he said. And earlier today, some oddball made a post about some world being destroyed if she doesn't confess and stop trying to destiny swap. The thing is this person that's coming after her has no light in them. There's nothing. They're not the sun. They are a dominator fraud, and they're very upset that God is recognizing the woman and has a new covenant, by the way. She's got a rainbow covenant. They took it away from this guy. But in the 3D, this guy is saying, you know, they need to claim as many souls, as much energy as possible before the actual transference occurs in the 3D realm. So they need to get everybody upset. They need to get everybody warring. They need people to choose their side and buy their illusion and their story. They need people to try to get rid of this mother or agree to get rid of her because, you know, they want to save their own selves. But saving their own selves means they're giving their energy to this fraud because this fraud needs it. He doesn't have any. He doesn't have any power unless they give it to him, because God took it back and gave it to its and gave credit where credit is due. Divine feminines who've been holding families together while being abused for centuries, doing her best to bring life forward and to continue the human race, you know, while being hurt. So we've got magician. So you've got a fraud here doing magic. They're trying to create an illusion. They're trying to get people to agree that this Queen of Wands has to be sacrificed in order for the greater good, right? Because they want to continue to dominate the lives and the mindset. They don't want you speaking freely. They don't want you singing songs randomly and sharing them with the internet and then sparking the idea that maybe somebody else will sing too. I mean, it's wild, but these ones really want to put people back in that little tiny box. And God said no. He wants it all back. So, I mean, it's not going to work because it's not a fight between this magician fraud and this Queen of Wands. It's a fight between them and God, who gave her back the land. God already said the land was going back to the indigenous people, but you've got these magicians, sorcerers or whatever, that are committing fraud, and they hate the mother. They hate the woman. And they've been pretending to be this, but they're actually this. Which is why God took the money from them, because they were misappropriating it. They were sucking it out of the womb space of divine feminine, you know, and making the little children suffer. They still want to do that, and they're very angry. So because they've been disconnected, they don't like what God offered them. So God took from them what they stole, and he gave it back to their rightful owners. Those who birth life into the world. You've got this page, there's a Page of Cups here who's having a difficult time. They're in a Ten of Wands burden. And they're, because why? Why? Because you have control of the foundation. And it's death. This is over. It's like God took the land back. God said, and it's not going to the feminine per se, it's going to the indigenous people. The original people, you know, before all of the genetic tweakings and the CRISPRs, through all of these injections and other things that, you know, these medicines that people have been taking, you know, without knowing the ingredients of, you know, they've changed the coded frequencies of the temple and the spirit and such with these things, and people didn't question it. So the original people that didn't get CRISPR'd are getting the territory, and these ones are real pissed because they're losing their home, the home that they stole to begin with. They had permission to come and collaborate to create And instead of doing that, they decided to dominate and then bury the divine feminine and the babies that come from her, the family trees. They wanted to destroy it because they're not human. They were allowed to be here to co-create, and they instead decided to dominate. So they're very, very mad. Their fight is with God. It's not with this woman, and it's not with you. If they come to the public and they say, well, this woman's got to go, or, God is going to destroy the world. Well, guess what? If God decides to destroy the world and you're in alignment with God, you're going to go wherever God says you're going to go. You don't need to listen to this fraud who doesn't have any light or life in them, trying to cast illusions with this magic on you so that you will agree to give him your power, your light, your life, and support him and make him strong so that he can once again crush divine feminine and take everything that God has given to her to support the life that she brings forth and dominate it. Right? And he's going to threaten to destroy the world. But here's the thing. There are limitless numbers of universes. Many of you here out there, psychics and really powerful presences, will be dignitaries of these systems. There are limitless numbers of universes, and in each universe there are all kinds of planetary things going on, right? And so there's space and place for everybody to actually be all that they are. But this guy doesn't want that. He wants you to believe that this is all there is, and once this is gone, there's nothing else, and that's just false. What is going on here is that this divine feminine is the goddess of time that they had trapped previously, which is why they had all of this authority. But God took her back in all of her formats, in all of our bodies, whether they be masculine or feminine. This divine energy that births creation into the realm that this person has siphoned for so long and dominated, they're fighting God for this, and they need you to support them to keep you enslaved and not accept your position out there somewhere in these limitless numbers of universes. And it's not going to be like the world has to blow up and you have to die and go do that. It could be like a snap of the finger and boom, you're in another reality. And it may not even look different. God works in mysterious ways, and this person is fighting with God. And they're trying to frame this divine feminine mother figure as this, somebody who doesn't have any light. But she's got the 10 of Pentacles because God recognizes very much who life comes from and who has been taken the hit and covered under the mess of the magician's arrogance and lack. They're so mad because they're getting kicked out. She's like, hey, you know what? You have been RAPN. You've got all these trafficking systems going on. The children disappear by 800,000 a year in the USA alone disappear. And this is stupid that none of those leaders out there know what's going on. I mean, it's crazy. So God knows what's going on. He knows what's going on with these frauds dominating the life of everybody, doing with it as they will. They've got a whole network of systems here to siphon life force from people. So the Queen of Wands has got time, giving it time. So she's here. She's very determined. Everything is happening in divine timing. She could have received time. Give it time. It could be that she's being patient here, planning for the future. The challenge is here with the Four of Swords. She's renewing. She's tired, man. She's been dealing with this stuff intensely. Like, this is the 10 of Wands. It can't get any more stressful than this. And this guy's on the way out, as well as their whole team. And they're frantic to create the illusion in the 3D world that this is their world and that they're the rulers and that they're in alignment with God and blah, 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 blah. And they're going to say, God's going to destroy the world if you don't see that this woman, this Jezebel or Lilith or whatever. They always do that. God gives the 10 of Pentacles to the mother And then you've got this jealous bro ho here working magic and illusion because they got disconnected and they have no light of their own. They're not even connected to God. They had, they damaged a whole bunch of bridges, and they got away with a lot of stuff because they were siphoning that intellectual property and then mimicking as though they were the person, and doing all kinds of crappy things, trying to foul their reputation and the way that God sees them. So yeah, you're planning for the future, and you're not moving. You're not going anywhere. This is the territory. God gave it back to divine feminine of the indigenous. So the original people are getting the land back, and you're not going anywhere. There's going to be a lot of people who are leaving. They were talking about Jupiter, and Jupiter has that, what was that? There's some kind of mission. There's a shuttle. There's a spacecraft traveling to one of Jupiter's moons. And they're gonna investigate or research the potential for life and its oceans. So they're doing that, and I'm thinking that these people are leaving. They're going to different systems out there. God is like, look, you got to get out. And this curator here who's been committing fraud, pretending that he was get out of there, fly. Pretending that he was this Christed being. He was pretending he was the Christed being. He was furious when the feminines and the divine masculines who were supporting them were coming together as stars and suns and rebelling against this system of tyranny, because he swore up and down that every bit of energy in every single life form belonged to him, and he could do whatever he wants to with it. And he's got this shadow demon that he's been feeding the light people to so that they could harvest them and extend their lives. It's a system. These people infiltrated the whole system long, long ago. And they've been using forbidden magic to bind people and siphon people and shut their minds down, and then drive personalities through their minds, not even allowing people to be their own soul song. They've been driving soap operas and experiences through their lives and stealing from people the opportunity to sing their own song, because they've got all this chaos going on, supported by people who are driven to cause chaos. He's mad. He's already lost in the spirit. It's happening here now, and they're losing control. They're losing strength. They don't have the light. So their illusions are cracking. Everything's falling apart. The divine feminine is here. She's giving it time. Everything in divine timing. She's like, God, you got the reins, you got the wheel. And God's leading this. It's like she's just here. You know what? She is grateful to be alive, because these ones have spent centuries trying to bury her. She has spent all this time fortifying and adding value to her soul. God sees this through all the struggle and all of the intentional covering of this magical blame and shame for their own fraud. And sometimes I get upset and I'm like, well, why did this go on so long? And I know why, because these ones had everybody's crown bound. And then they had all these interfering communications like satellites and such, that were putting in false telepathy, confusing everything. So you've got a guardian angel. You're moving forward. So your movement forward, whatever it is you're going to do here, Queen of Wands, it's in divine timing. You're not going anywhere. You're making plans for the future. Whatever that is, wherever you're going, whatever you're moving forward with is protected by your guardian. And you most likely have more than one, because this is a very big thing. This is a worldwide shift. Now, these ones want human beings eating bugs, and God's like, I don't think so, because the original human being is far greater than that. And these ones want you to trade places with them. They want you to give your power, your energy, your sun to them, so that they can then use that energy to command you. So they've lost everything because God didn't divorce you. God didn't throw you away. Their fraud didn't work. In the spiritual realms, God knows exactly who you are, Queen of Wands. You're passionate, you're loyal, you're dedicated. And you're getting this, and that's why they're losing everything. This fraud magician is losing everything because God sees. God knows the truth. They've been doing research and battle in the astral steady, like 24/7. Of course, over there, I guess there's no time. So maybe it's different. Maybe it's just like major all the time. Anyway, it is major, and entire timelines have been collapsed. Stuff is happening over there, and now it's happening here. Now you're going to get to see it. But the problem is we've got a lot of people who are asleep to this, so they think that this is all there is. And so when they get televised and they're reading from their teleprompters and they're staging, catastrophes, and they're getting everybody's emotional body jacked out of shape, and then everybody falls into alignment of who are they going to back, what this one person did in the world, and they're losing sight of the bigger picture that God is taking everything away from this person and giving it to this divine feminine and her guardians, whoever these guardians are, the new foundation keepers. And these ones are mad, and they're going to want to war with the new foundation keepers who have been elected here in the 3D. So you will see a physical war, and they're going to try to blame it on the beautiful, shining brightness of divine feminine, because she's rising. She's rising in the authority that God gave her when he left her here to lift these frauds up, to lift them up. But instead, they decided to do forbidden magic and then bind her and shove her down, while stealing the 10 of Pentacles and everything that God gave her in order to be fruitful here. So it's wild to me. So you got the 10 of Pentacles here, and they'll be back. So expect to hear from them soon. There's a home, some kind of an inheritance, family. You've got a family here. A new family. God didn't divorce you. He didn't kick you out. He lifted you up and gave you the land and the wealth. And now you've got these frauds in the 3D. Like I said, they're gonna read a script. They're actors and actresses. Everything will be coming from a little notepad or a little teleprompter, or there's going to be some filmed event that they'll want to get everybody rallied behind. But when they reallocated all of the money, they didn't give a video evidence of that happening. It's all a very strategic manipulation, and it's not even clever, man. It's not even clever if you're paying attention. It's so obvious. So what we've got here, so here's the sun, right? He's in the reverse. This is somebody who's experiencing a lot of negativity, right? They were careless, they were arrogant, they're having setbacks, they don't have any sun. They've been disconnected from God. They were playing both sides. They were doing shady stuff against humanity with the shadow, feeding them to the shadow demon. And then they were asking God to protect them from any kind of retaliation of that. But then God didn't know that they were doing these kinds of things because they had damaged all the bridges of the people and taken over. and framed them for being violent and you know, warlike, unable to manage themselves. And that was just the soap opera that was going through the transmitter receiver that was completely unaligned with the soul song. Whacked. But this person here has health issues. They're a third party. We got pregnancy. So they might have gotten somebody pregnant. They might be pregnant. They're having health issues. This is a third party. Whatever. They got something going on, or maybe they're having trouble with. No, somebody's expecting. Somebody's expecting. They're pregnant. There's something going on with their health. They're a third party. They're depressed. They're arrogant, careless. Maybe they were careless about something. There's something going on with their health. They have no light in them. They got disconnected from God for trying to commit fraud and be God, using God's man body in order to torture children and women and other men. So we've got the foundation is here, the Four of Wands. There's celebration and joy. There's been a reunion. God did not divorce this divine feminine out. In fact, he took all those pentacles away from this fraud magician and gave them back to her. And the divine feminine is the energy, right? So it belongs to the mother who brings forth life. It belongs to the father who actually nurtures it and provides for it. It's all of that dedicated, domestic responsibility, harmonious. So you're going to see some tantrums, and there's going to be a lot of projection. Like this person is who he's trying to claim this divine feminine is. And that is why God disconnected him. And he didn't get what he wanted, because God's like, you're a little fraud. Look at you. I think God's going to give him a big hammer down. But this guy needs to get the people, the blind people, the ones who don't see, the ones who believe what they're told still, because they got some kind of a program that they're still vulnerable to or something. They watch the TV all the time. They create heroes out of men who obviously haven't been able to solve any wars. Oh, I've ended so many wars. Oh, bull. You know how there are tunnels aligned with the skulls of human beings. There's no war that has been ended. Every year, 800,000 children go missing, and that's not counting adults. There's a war on life going, regardless of whether there's bombs and, come on. We got confession. So there's the Four of Wands. There's an engagement. Somebody might want to tell you something. Somebody might want to confess something. We got the Seven of Swords here. So there is a trickster and a fraud attempting to betray somebody. They're being deceptive. But luck is on your side. So they're being dishonest. They're trying to steal what God has given this Queen of Wands in order to create a future here. They're trying to get away with something. A magician. So we've got a magician here trying to manifest. What we've got cycles. They want to take part in your cycle. They want to swap places with you. They're still here trying to do magic and illusionary magic. It depends on the sleeper and how desperately they believe the illusion. How desperately they believe the soap opera that's playing out before them. See, they'll believe what they're told, but they won't believe what they see. They don't see it. They can't see it. So they're dangerous. So look, we got date night. Somebody's been disconnected from date night. They're not able to date. They're not able to date anymore. That's what it is. So God said over a year ago that this is the end of their relationship with batteries. This little fraud magician is going after this Queen of Wands in order to get at God. He's going after the chosen ones, the feminines who carry this powerful light in their womb and in their solar plexus and in their heart space that they pour into the family unit, right? When they bring forth the next generation. That's the strength that God flows into the creatress. And they've lost control of it. God's saying, you know what? You have abused it and hurt it so bad. This is the end of that, because you're a third-party hoe bag. You're getting people pregnant. You got bad health issues. You're spreading that shit around so irresponsibly, and they want to be in control of this wealth that God is reallocating. They're in trouble. They're in trouble. They're going to have to move on, is what they're going to have to do. Look, this says someone is unavailable. It's a waste of time. It's over. They will never get a hold of this Queen of Wands again. This is the same powerful feminine that refused to bow to them over and over and over again. She rose up and said, how dare you? Over and over and over again. And what did they do? They tortured it. They stripped the mind, tore the mind, ran chaos and insanity through the mind, pumped in frequencies of agitation into the waters, microwave, anger, right? Have you seen those YouTube videos where they put a sound frequency into the water and then all of a sudden it's going doo, 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 and it's flowing, but it's weird. So yeah, they got to move on. They want date night, and they got to move on. They need date night in order to move on. We got an air sign. Maybe getting pets, doing something with pets, trying to communicate with you, maybe telepathically, I don't know. Use caution, use your intuition, because this person's doing a love spell in order to get a honeymoon with you. This is a narcissist who is going back. They're going back. God is sending them back. And they're struggling to take this Ten of Pentacles from the divine couples, this divine feminine, well, who is right here, divine feminine and her guardian are right here. God has taken the Five of Pentacles from this trickster fraud, and he did not divorce divine feminine. In fact, he gave that to her. We've got, the answer is no. You're a fire sign or whatever. When they come at you with this date night, you're saying no because you know that it's a third party. And you're going to be traveling soon. They're going to be traveling soon. We've got intimacy and commitment. So you've got this coming, but you do have a water sign who's a gold digger. We've got an earth sign who wants you to open your heart. They're doing magic right now and being patient, trying to see if you'll open your heart. They're having challenges because you're letting go. You're not having anything to do with them. This liar is gambling. They took a gamble with you, with your life force, with your presence. They took a gamble and they lost you. And now they're spying on you from a distance. They're probably on your website, on your social media. They're targeting you. They're threatening God because, while they originally pretended, because see, they had access and command over all of the light bodies. So this little jerk was dressed up in it and then pretending that they were the sun. They were this savior. They were the one who could tell you whether you could live or die or whatever it is. I don't know who this fraud is, but he was commanding life force energy here. And now we've got somebody here who's saying, excuse me, like that's my family down there that you've been feeding on. And so God's like, hey, I don't know, something's up. Queen of Wands is given it time. Everything happens in divine timing. And I was just thinking about this earlier, like me, like I was, 2003 is when it first hit me. It was absolutely atrocious. I hit the ground like a ton of bricks. I think I went clear to the bottom of hell. I don't know, but it took me a long time to get back up, but here I am. And everything happened in divine timing. I was thinking, gosh, the only thing that God ever asked of me was, he didn't even ask me. He just said, patience, patience, patience. And he said they're going to get what they deserve. And he said this is the end of their relationship with batteries. And they're very, very mad because these third parties have been running around spreading disease and getting people pregnant without taking care of them, are losing everything because they're irresponsible little childish tyrants. They're threatening to destroy the entire world if God does not give him back this woman who made him so powerful. He wants to convince people that she's a bad person because he needs her energy. He needs them and their permission as angels or whatever who are under a mind control to give him permission to take her. But that's bad. That'll be real bad. I hope that doesn't work out because God's already made the decision. And she's got a guarantee. They cannot trap her. They cannot keep her. There's nothing that they can do to obtain this woman or what she has been given by God. This is it. It's a guarantee. She will never give it back. She will never, ever, ever give it back. God made that clear. He affirmed it twice. He's handling these frauds. But they need to try to cast an illusion over the 3D realm. They want to have an excuse to set off nuclear bombs or something. They want to destroy the territory as much as they can because they know that it's going into the hands of this woman and the indigenous people, and they want to lay it out, and they want to bafangoo God, right? Well, I don't know. I think they're about ready to get a big old smackdown, and they're going to try to tell the sleepers that it's aliens, and oh my God, oh no, we better go on lockdown, that kind of stuff. Adversity. So give it time. Everything in divine timing. God's handling this adversity. And this says, I accept the challenges are the best way to learn. And you've been challenged for many centuries and you have remained steady. The love in you has remained firm. And you're still here contemplating what you're going to build and create that benefits the world in the future. They could not take it out of you. You're the mother. Bringing life and nurturing life is what you do. And they tried to turn you into a malicious, vengeful destroyer. They wanted to swap places with you, but it didn't work because you refused to go there. As painful as it was. You're here, you're challenged by recuperating, right? You want to renew, you want to plan for the future. You're not moving, you're not going anywhere. We've got gratitude in the reverse. You could be challenged that these adversity, they're not leaving. Like they were supposed to leave. They were supposed to be out of here. But they're still here, unalivened folks, claiming energies, gaining a following to support this egregory, this mindset that they can, I don't know, the magic's not really working. They're trying to destiny swap with an entire group of people. They need to get them on a frequency match. They need to get them to buy the story. So you're thinking about moving forward. You're moving forward. This is an enterprise. This could be, it's worldwide. In the spirit, there's no borders. So it's like there's a whole lot of folks out there, regardless of what language they speak, who are kind of in alignment with what God has going on here. And we've got empathy. So a lost loved one watches over you. You have a guardian here. They have empathy for you. They can see what's been happening to you. The story is right out there. So these guys have lost everything. They're in a 5 of Pentacles. Everything was taken from them because God was not going to divorce you. And it could very well be that whoever this trickster fraud was lied about you divorcing them, or lied about you trying to divorce yourself from God. Whoever this is in the mind. So these guys lost everything, and why they lost everything is because they could not divorce you from the mind. Your bridge was mended, your communications with God were fortified, and everything is known. all of the suffering that you endured, that you witnessed, and even those many, many lifetimes that you don't recall, all of that is in your record, the real record. You're getting your 10 of Pentacles. You can expect to hear from them soon. It says they'll be back. So this is the thing. And this curator, this fraud, they were talking about, well, if they come back. Well, here's the thing. See, they thought that they had put up so many blockages that there was no way for a greater authority to ever enter the atmosphere again. They thought they had everybody locked down hard in this prison realm. But you, Divine Feminine, rose up. You got all up in your fire, and you were like, not this time. I am not It's like you discovered that your life was worth fighting for too. You stopped being subservient to everybody who was kicking you in the guts and hating you even more for loving them. So you gave your love to yourself, and you rose up with this fire like a phoenix in divine timing, led by God. You were led back into your ascension. You can't just give this dude your identity and confess that you're whatever his projection is onto you. He's trying to project his own persona and his own nastiness onto you. This is a nasty jack. Nasty jack. Oh, nasty. Nasty boy. And he ain't even nice. We got indecision here. 10 of Wands, inheritance. You've got family who is coming back. So those who were locked out at some point, there has been bridges mended. There has been bridges mended. Like some of you are walking portals. Some of you are goddess or god of time. Like you have spiritual gifts that shift things in such a big way. And these guys had everybody on lockdown hard with all of this toxic stuff, all of this food, the tainted food supply, and all of these heavy metals and microwave interferences in the body, in the energies, in the waters, and in the mind. So, these ones are very, very arrogant. They got somebody pregnant. They have a health issue. They're bisexual. They sleep with everybody. They laughed at you. They thought you were funny. They think you're funny. They're laughing at this service, or maybe you're laughing at them. You think it's funny that they want to take part in your service? Or maybe their service was laughable because they're just out there sleeping with everybody. And it wasn't just humans. I mean, you've seen, if you've been looking at videos or aware at all, I mean, animals are even subject to these people in that way. They're worried. Somebody's worried. There's celebration within the community. You're moving into freedom here for marriage. You're moving away from this third party, orgy fest or whatever. Wham bam, thank you, man. Woo, that was nice. Okay, on to the next one. I don't know, whatever. Somebody wants to commit trickery and fraud, and it could be, we've got yes, they want to commit trickery and fraud. We got somebody betraying, somebody being deceptive. It could be that luck is on your side regarding that. Peace. You're peaceful. So somebody's been committing fraud. They betrayed you with this fraud. They stole from you what God had previously given to you. See, there was a couple of folks here. This Queen of Wands and her guardian, there were a lot of stars and suns that were united, and they were gifts to this world. They had gifts of this powerful love and light energy that was really magnificent and able to just turn stuff to vibrancy. And these guys came along and they said, ooh, food, because they feed on that kind of energy. There's some beings out there, they call them smokeless fire. I'm guessing they like this kind of energy. And I don't know what other kinds of beings like this kind of energy, but they like this kind of energy when it has been flipped into South Node and it's in extreme pain and suffering, because it's still very powerful and potent, but in its South Node, it's more easily digestible by lower vibrational beings, which is why they want everybody in fear, in anger, in rage, in vengeance. And people need to remember, man, vengeance is the Lord's. And if God isn't calling you for service, then you need to sit it out and be patient. So the magician is doing something, trying to, get into this cycle. He wants to get this new cycle. And we've got health. They need to be part of this. They need health. They're trying to manufacture health. Somebody's getting disconnected from date night. They're being told to move on, like nobody wants to date with them. And I think God is like forbidding it. It's forbidden. They can no longer date stars and suns. This is the end of this feed fest. They can no longer date or get contract or relationship with stars and suns. They will no longer feed on humanity. They're receiving some form of discipline. You've got this self-esteem, gifts that benefit the soul. It could be that they have to move on because of your discipline, because of your gifts of the soul that benefit you and others. Maybe they have to leave you alone. They got to leave you alone, and they got to surrender. That's what it is. So your discipline, they're being told to move on. They are disconnected from date night. Move on. They're not available. You are not permitted to date stars and suns. This is the end of their relationship with batteries. God stated it. That's the fact. It's just a fact, Jack. It's over. You cannot date people with discipline and gifts of the souls that benefit themselves and others. Those people who can accomplish whatever they set their mind to. Because these ones have been getting into sack with these ones, and then they've been destroying their mind. They've been siphoning the gifts. They've been partying it up and being absolutely irresponsible and destructive, and taking out the very people who were supposed to make this planet flourish. So they got to move on. God's saying, you know what? You better leave them alone. You're going to surrender. You're going to leave them alone. You're going to surrender that need to control them. You're done. And they're in grief because they have to accept this because God has accepted you. They could not cut you out, and God knows what they did to you. They're in regret for what they did to love. Love that trusted them. Love that was connected to the inner voice that was guiding them still. And as much chaos and insanity as they ran through my mind over the last 22 years, it was incredible that God heard anything. It was really terrible at first because it was like I had hundreds, if not thousands, of satellites all broadcasting like freaking 12 channels at a time. And they were all going off, and it was crazy. And I had to work my way up, and through that, when you see it on a picture, you see all those satellites, and it looks like just a band of stars, but it's not. It's satellites. I had to wiggle my way up through that to get to God. It was crazy. Anyway, you're connected to the inner voice that's guiding you. And even when the mind was so much chaos and so much insanity, the soul with the silver cord was still connected to source. And there's all kinds of different psychic communication. Some of it is intuition. You don't hear anything, but you're intuitively nudged or guided in a direction. Or you're out for a drive in the wilderness and you don't know where you're going. You're just going left and right and left and right. Do, 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 do. And then all of a sudden you wind up in this fantastic place, which is just makes your inner child giggle. And you're like, wow, thanks God. Something pretty like that. Anyway, you're in your purpose. You are forgiven for whatever this mess is. And this mess is being released. It's being released. You deserve happiness. And you know that being happy means you're on the right path. And you are on the right path. These prideful people envied you. You persevered because you bring a state of perfect balance and harmony to your world. You're disciplined. You have gifts of the soul that benefit you and others. You have an incredible inner fortitude. And just like the one I posted some things about grace. And it's like grace, you know, when we are affected by these things that try to destroy us and we're feeling very, very weak, it's in those moments that we surrender to God. We don't sit there, well, I mean, we do, and it's inevitable. We all do. And I spent a lot of time moaning and groaning about how miserable my life was. But there came a point where I just surrendered. There was nothing I could do about it. Complaining about it over and over and over again wasn't fixing it, so I gave it to God. And like this Queen of Wands, gave it time. This adversity. Everything in divine timing. Let God handle it. Give it to God. And when it's, you know, and He's bringing about a change. He's bringing about a change. Because the honest truth has been revealed regarding those who were guilty of messing with you. And so you've got your freedom, and this is over. There's death here. It's over. They're getting cut out of your light. They cannot feed on you anymore. This is the end of their relationship with batteries. They're disconnected from date night. Move on. Stars and suns are no longer available. Those who have gifts of the soul that are meant to create beautiful, thriving, living things in this world, they're not to be messed with. That's a big no-no. And I think maybe it was that way before too, but these guys had it figured out, man. They had shut down and shut down. They had shut down so many things, but they all got opened back up. And you know why? Because we got some of you folks out there are masters. Maybe you don't know it, but your spirit knows it. And we've got folks here from the outer edges of the limitless numbers of universes supporting life. So when they come, they're going to come here. You know, people are going to be like, they don't know what to do because they're coming. Many of them are here now. They will claim this territory. There will be restructure. So those who are bringing adversity to you are making mistakes. You're giving it time, everything in divine timing. You've released the wheel to God. God is driving the ship. You're planning for the future. You're healing. You're not going anywhere. You're not moving. And those who are bringing you adversity, man, they're not grateful for that. Look at that. They neglected you. You're not moving anywhere. You didn't move. You didn't divorce anybody. You didn't do anything. You were shoved under the carpet. They weren't grateful for you. They neglected you. They're challenged because you know that. They made mistakes. And God's here and sees it all. They weren't grateful for you. They neglected you. You're not moving anywhere. You're not leaving the territory. You're part of those people that will inherit the earth. And you get to make plans for the future. You're getting 10 pentacles. So you've got a 3 of Wands here. You're moving forward. You've got some opportunities and it's protected. Empathy is here. People care about you. Your guardian cares about you. Your guardian has a team. You have a team. And those who are bringing adversity to you miss their opportunity. Your guardian cares about you. These challengers or whatever miss their opportunity. They've lost their money. Everything they had is being taken from them because it was yours. They took it from you long, long ago. They took it from you, and they cannot divorce you out of the imagination of God. They weren't able to disconnect you. We've got holding back. It could be that they haven't been divorced out of the imagination yet. They're being held back. Maybe God is still spying on them to see what it is they're doing. Maybe that's why, so many of you may still hear this disturbances, because God hasn't shut the door on them yet. There's still things going on that need to be discovered. You're getting this 10 of Pentacles, and we've got they'll be back. It's like God's coming back. God's coming back, and these people don't know what to do. They tried to sabotage you, and they sabotage their own selves. They don't know what to do. God's coming back. God is coming back. These people are in trouble. They're arrogant. They are not the Son of God. They don't have any Son in them. They're not connected to the Son. They're getting people pregnant willy-nilly, and they've got health issues. They're bisexual. We've got humor and service. They thought your service was funny. They laughed. They thought what? They laughed at your service. They laughed at you. You felt good. You feel good when you can help others. You're focused on the lighter side of life, and they laughed at you. Maybe humor is one of your services to bring happiness, to raise the vibration and the frequency through joy. And they dragged everybody into this lustful third-party, home life that wasn't stable or healthy. Reminiscing about the inside jokes. They laughed at your service. While you were providing them services, they laughed. Their third party was laughing at you. They're very arrogant. They're depressed. Somebody might be depressed. They're pregnant. They could have a health issue. They laughed at you and your services, or maybe they got laughed at because they were hurting you so bad. They came to try to get services from you, and maybe they got laughed at because they were hurting you. They didn't appreciate you. So the Four of Wands is here. There's a celebration and a reunion within the community. Domestic happiness is being restored. Somebody wants to tell you something. They're worried. They didn't appreciate any of the beauty that you offered them. They committed fraud against you. They're trying to get away with something tricky. They're being deceptive. But luck is on your side, and you're going to have peace because the negative energies are being released. You're going to have peace. It could be secret. Like you may not know everything yet. Whatever God's doing with this fraud, with this trickster, you may not know. We've got the Magician here and cycles. They may have to repeat a cycle. Something is ending. Something is beginning. They need to go learn how to honor their physical vessel that enshrines their soul. They can't feed on people and then just pretend that they did something fantastic, worth a reward for. They were just feeding, causing other people to suffer. So the Magician has to go back and repeat a cycle in order to figure out how to honor the vessel that enshrines their soul. There was no sun in them. There's no light in them. There's no rebirth. It could be with this sun in the reverse, there may have been kind of a stillbirth, because this says rebirth. So there may not have been a birth. A birth may have gone wrong. Pregnancy, health, sexuality, third party. So it could be that somebody had a miscarriage. Somebody may have, there may be something wrong with the child. So somebody needs to go back. They need to figure out how to care for their own health. They're very confused about this. They're being disconnected from date night. They have to move on because the suns and the stars are no longer available. This is the end of their relationship with batteries. Those people who are disciplined and can create whatever they want to in this world because they have gifts of the soul that benefit themselves and others and a healthy self-esteem. They're not arrogant. They're not egotistical. They're just here singing songs and birthing joy, happiness. And they need to stay out of their space. These third parties, they got to stay out of the space of these ones. Move on. You got to stay out of their energy. It's sacred energy, and they've been treating it like a piss pile or a freaking cow pile. So the shadow side was daydreaming, longing to be you. It could be that they're longing for you still, but you love yourself and you have an understanding of what they were trying to do. And it could be that whoever you're reuniting with has an understanding of what's been happening to you because they're observant. Somebody's feeling broken and shattered because the truth is revealed about their habitual patterns and their lies. And the fact that they're just a shady shadow reflection doing mirror magic, trying to be you. And so they're getting detached, prideful, found unworthy, and suffering from the damage that they have caused to responsible commitments and their soul contracts. They tried to destroy this for loving people. By hijack, for irreplaceable people. They would come in and get them with this passion, this sex, right? And people who hoped to gain an irreplaceable, loving, responsible family, right? They were chasing after the soul tie. They still could be, but you're having a new chapter here, and these ones are unsatisfied. There's an unfinished business here that they're in regret for. They're running away from it. They got to go pay the piper. They got to go back and figure out how to take care of their own self without siphoning the energy and the life force and the happiness out of others. It's time, and there's nothing they can do. It's too late for them to do anything about it. People are talking about it. They just wanted the money, and they're feeling overwhelmed. They could not separate you two. The Queen of Wands and her guardian, they could not separate you. They're really feeling your absence, these ones who are feeding on you. They're trying to look for an escape. They got to convince the populace in the flesh suit, in this 3D space, that the women that are rising into power right now are somehow antichrist or whatever. They're trying to project their own foul nature that is very, very destructive, and it allows perversion through the governing systems without ever confronting it. They promise they will, and then they don't, and they come up with a lie and call it a hoax when everybody who's paying attention knows otherwise. And this has been going on for centuries, and they're hoping that they're just going to destroy the world and start over with stolen DNA and have more Cabbage Patch babies and repopulate, and bam, 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 bam. Everybody will be covered under mud. But I don't think God's going to let it happen this way, because this isn't just a partial reset. This is a full-on reset. Somebody doesn't know what to do. This is an unexpected income. You're moving into the destiny, and in this destiny, they were struggling to find the right path. These third wheel enemies were trying to find somebody else's destiny that they could steal. They're in disagreement about you having your life. They want forgiveness. They want to talk. They want to mend this connection. And it could be that you've got forgiveness, that whatever they were framing you with, all of this bad freaking nastiness they were layering everybody with, trying to get them to be seen energetically as a foul energetic source. Bad. Anyway, it could be that you've been forgiven, and now somebody wants to call and hear your voice because your connection has been fixed, and you're going to get some reciprocity here. Some good stuff is coming. What you deserve. You're no longer going to have to worry about these fraud magicians sucking you in with this third-party date night scenario. It's going away. God's putting an end to it. And this fraud magician is at war with God. They're giving God ultimatums. If God doesn't give me that one back, I'm gonna sacrifice all the chosen ones. That's what he said. And he said he's gonna blow up the freaking world if she doesn't try to destiny swap. And it's like, she's not destiny swapping. God said, this is the person who belongs in this position, and you're a fraud. So you're losing everything, and she's getting everything else. And she's protected, so you guys need to bug off. And they, so, and then we see these tablets where they've dropped nuclear bombs and such onto the world. And it could very well be that these tyrant dominators who want to rule the world, they do not want to see Divine Feminine get the respect that she deserves. They would rather destroy everything than cede their own authority that they've stolen from her. And they're psycho, man. They're psycho. Look, there's like a location here. So they made mistakes. We've got adversity, and we've got location. So they could be at a hidden location. They're trying to spy on your location. They sent adversity to the wrong location. You're making plans for the future. You're not going anywhere. These ones are upset. They're not grateful at all. They're really upset. They neglected you. You know it. You don't have to go anywhere. You've learned everything about everything that they were doing. You know everything they were doing. So you're moving forward. You got an opportunity here. This is like a worldwide thing. God is reorganizing everything. And this fraud is like, how dare you take back what I have been in control of? I mean, he thinks he's in control. He's telling his shadow demon and all of his brojos that he owns everybody's life. It's crazy. He hates the Divine Feminine. He likes the three-party thing. And he likes many three-party things. Like, not just three, he likes them all. We got BU. Oh, yeah. So you got moving forward. You are protected. Everything that you're doing moving forward is protected. Your guardian sees what's been happening to you. Divine Mother said that they won't be able to curse your land or your business. So they missed their opportunity to be you. Didn't work out. They're real mad. They missed their opportunity to be you, to dress up in your energy, and then to portray themselves as you. God came in and he said, whoa, hey, this is my Divine Feminine. Why are you wearing this energy? Why are you in this position here? Tell me the story. And they did, and nothing was true. They lied about everything. Snake. So we've got Snake in a 5 of Pentacles. We've got holding back the snake. Holding back the snake. God is not divorced out of this person's imagination. God's all up in their business. God is all up in that person's business. And it could be that they know very well that there was no divorce, that they just been, maybe they like sacrificed. This snake could have like centuries ago gained some kind of a contract, whether it was legitimate or not. But then they may have said that you wanted a divorce because you were a hoe bag or whatever. But in reality, they flipped and copycatted you. And then created a whole bunch of more copycats and created this whole big lie and illusion using your energy and your gifts because they were so powerful and potent. So you're getting the 10 of Pentacles, and they'll be back. God is coming back. Somebody's coming back. Expect to hear from them soon. Somebody doesn't know what to do. They don't know what to do. They sabotage themselves, trying to sabotage you. This explorer, they may want to explore different things. This is a traveler. See, this explorer is coming from a different place. They don't even belong here. They're not actually... Isn't that incredible? So the sun is in the reverse. There's no rebirth for these ones, and you're not getting in any of that business. And it could very well be that somebody had a pregnancy and there were health issues that arose, so they may not have had a birth. They could have. Oh, this little jackwagon was talking about pregnant women. Like they needed a pregnant sacrifice or something. And it could very well be that they got one, but there's no rebirth. We've got pregnancy, health, sexuality, and sun in the reverse. There's no rebirth. Somebody may have tried to inhabit a child's body in a woman's womb, and it didn't work out. They laughed at your services. They're reminiscing about the inside jokes. They thought it was real funny. They laughed at you. You're a sovereign being. They laughed at you. They're trying to rebirth. They're trying to rebirth. They're trying to take over bodies in the womb. It's like that. They're trying to get a new life. They're trying to transfer their essence into the womb space. You could be free to marry. There was no divorce. There was abandonment. There was no betraying a contract. There was none of that. You were a sovereign being. This person hurt you and then dressed somebody else up as you. There is somebody who wants to confess. They're worried. They didn't appreciate the beauty of you, and they don't have a compass. They don't have a path. They're not on your path. They didn't appreciate you. They're not getting on your path. They committed fraud. They were deceptive. They're in the environment here trying to get away with something, but luck is on your side. Peace is being restored. The negative energies are being released for the secrets, for the lies. It may be that you don't know everything yet. Secrets, important. There might be some important secrets that you don't know yet. There might be an important person that hasn't said anything yet or told you everything. We've got a magician here who is repeating a cycle. They need to honor the physical vessel that enshrines their soul. They need to go figure out how to take care of themselves, and they're confused. They're confused. These are ancestors. These are ancestors, and they're confused. They got to go back and do it again because they fed on you and they tried to pretend that your energy, your gifts were theirs, and it wasn't. Quite some time ago, there are some doppelgangers out there that were undergoing some identity crises because they had been wearing your identity for so long that when you rose up and became known and stepped back into your identity, it's like, whoa, who's that talking? Well, you're this and that and this and that. And it's like, well, no, I'm not. What the hell are you talking about? I mean, I don't even know you people, you know, and that's what's going on. It's like these copycats have been out there pretending to be this divine feminine and others for so long that when you finally showed up, it was like, whoa. And it's so obvious that they're not you, because when you stand side by side and you get your shine on, and the shine, see, they dress up in shine, right? But you create shine because you are light. So when you're doing there, you're a side by side, okay, who's who, so you get your shine on, but then before you know it, their shine burns right off because it's just a coat, right? And so it burns up and it fades out. The light bulb goes out, and while yours gets brighter and brighter. So they're confused. These ancestors got to go back and they got to figure out how to take care of their own damn health. They laughed at you and your sovereignty. They thought you didn't know what the hell you were doing, but you're the one that is here now, being blessed by God, getting back what these ones took from you. And they're getting disconnected from date night. They got to move on. Stars and suns are no longer available. They will not be having anything to do with batteries anymore. No more relationships with batteries. They got to go figure it out on their own. They got to move on. Those people who have gifts of the soul that benefit themselves and others, a healthy self-esteem, and who are very well disciplined with the light that they are, this power that they are. They're not arrogant, they're not malicious, they're not vengeful, they're very patient. They know that everything happens in God's timing. God's power is perfectly present in the weakness, right? And that's what it is, and that's why God chooses, because it's like, not my will but thine, right? It's like you suffer for centuries, you suffer for decades. It's chaos, insanity, and most people that this would happen to would unalive themselves thinking that was going to make it go away, and I can't tell you whether it did or not, but I can say that a lot of people did not survive what you went through. But you did, and God recognized you, and he's like, whoa, so you brought all this knowledge. These ones got to stay out of your space. You're no longer here to teach them. You're no longer here to teach them. That was last cycle, and they spent centuries, 6 or 7 of them, torturing you, pretending to be you, trying to fool God into thinking that they were you. They had a very limited perception. All they wanted were things. These are addicted to entertainment. They thought it was funny to fight with you, to make every communication that you ever had argumentative. They wanted to paint you. This is entertainment. These are a bunch of actors and actresses. Look, playing around with the limelight position of Arcana. And now you got this fraud here threatening God. They were threatening the position of the Arcana. They were playing around with the position of the Arcana. The giant sovereign ones. The true leaders. Their families worked real hard to bury them in suffering and misery, and they had expectations of driving this position, of driving your mind. Look, but you cared for yourself. You were able to preserve yourself by being happy, even though they were being brutal with you, constantly fighting with you, driving insanity through you, driving agitated energy into you. Every time that you would get happy and fall in love, they would drive pain and tragedy and betrayal through you. And you would get so agitated, triggered. And then this now, what you did is you're like, whoa, hey, I see that again. Yeah, I'm triggered. What am I going to do about it? And sometimes, the older you get and the more often you get to this, you kind of say, okay, well, I see that perhaps I'm having a bit of an issue right now emotionally. And it's like, and there's this pain, and this is why the memory that's coming up with that. And so I'm visiting this memory and this energetic feeling, this emotional heaviness. What can I do to improve it? Is there anything I can do to change this? And so, you know, a lot of you sovereign beings decided to master yourself when you had all these other ones driving magical soap operas through your being. They're afraid now because you are seated on your spiritual throne. You did not take any shortcuts. You did not sign any blood oaths or create any contracts or accept any low life opportunity. You're getting justice because they martyred you and stole your identity. There's a change now because you survived. You survived what this wise guy did, and they are being disconnected from wholesome people in time. Wholesome, sovereign people. And there's feminines on these cards. And, you know, they targeted the masculines real hard. They messed with the masculines hard. They did not want these feminines being supported in any single way. They needed these masculines on their side, and the ones that did want to protect, oh yeah, they would create a big old war for you to go fight and shed your blood in so that they could have their way with what you left behind. Boy, I've been talking a lot. There's a lot of stuff going on. I'm going to go ahead and leave this one here. I think it's pretty clear. I hope it clarifies something that you may have already intuitively knew. And I'll see you on the next one, everybody. Bye.